Good morning, everyone, and welcome to Marketing Matters. I'm Sarah Touchstone, a Landmark Titles social media marketing strategist and educator, bringing you Marketing Matters every Wednesday at 10 a.m. We are joined once again with Jason. Jason is with VIP Mortgage up in the Prescott area, but he also does a lot of work down here in the Phoenix area. So it's really awesome to have such great partnerships within Landmark Title. Many of you guys know, if you're regulars, that we have an office up in Prescott, but we also have 7 offices here in the Valley, as well as 2 in Nevada. So it's always such a pleasure when we have the ability to bring in partners outside of our Phoenix metro market to learn a little bit more from them, to continue to build up these partnerships. And Jason has some really incredible material. He was on last month, and we had such a great time. I said, Jason, what do you have going on? You want to come back on and share some more? So today he is talking all about the importance of systems in your business. And you guys know that systems, when it comes to growing your real estate business, is where it's all at. So Jason, I'm going to give the controls to you. I love systems, and I'm excited about this topic today.
Awesome. Well, Sarah, thank you so much. It is an absolute pleasure to be back today. I had so much fun last time, and so when you asked me like, hey, should we do this again? The answer was a very easy yes. So I'm really excited for today's subject, especially. The reason why I am is because it's something that is so important, and it's unfortunately so often overlooked. We talk about systems, we talk about the importance of things like that in our business, and yet the problem that we have so often is our execution is a little bit lacking. And so what I want to do is I want to walk through with you, and I'm going to take a little bit of a longer route, but what I want to do is I want to build the need for understanding why systems are so important in our business. I want to clearly define that. Then I want to talk about specifically the systems that I use that I think are great, that I really want to share with you, and I want you to kind of get. So jumping right in, how many of you remember the movie You've Got Mail? Great movie. One of the things that blows my mind is this movie is over 20 years old at this point. It doesn't seem like that. It seems like just yesterday it was released, but it's a romantic comedy. Tom Hanks is the lead in it, along with Meg Ryan, and it's interesting. It's a romantic comedy, but the thing that makes it interesting is that it tells a story about business, and it's specifically a commentary about business in the 90s. So what you have, Tom Hanks's character, he is the owner of Fox and Books, which is a big box book retailer, similar to like what Barnes and Noble is today. And what he's doing, he's moving into this neighborhood, and Meg Ryan owns this little book shop called The Shop Around the Corner, right? And so she's all freaked out because his store comes in and he's putting her out of business. And it's interesting because this movie is really a commentary on what was happening in business in the 90s. You had big business USA coming in and putting mom and pop out of business. Walmart, I don't know if you remember, there used to be this furor that would happen whenever Walmart would open a new store somewhere in a smaller town. Prescott, for example, was one of those, right? And it was always about what's going to happen to the mom and pop business owner. And this is what was happening in business in the 90s. And here's the reason why it's so interesting and specific to what we're talking about today, because if you fast forward 20 years later, the hunter has become the hunted. And if you see these slides here, this is just a list that I've pulled up of some of the companies that have recently filed for bankruptcy. I mean, look at that. JCPenney's, Guitar Center, GNC, Pier 1 Imports. I'm not listed here. Sports Authority, Payless Shoe Source. All of these companies, which have been staples of American business, are filing for bankruptcy protection. And the reason why it's interesting is you ask questions. Why is that happening, right? Is it the economy? And the answer to that question is no, it's not. This was a very interesting statistic. In 2009, total retail sales 3.6 trillion. By 2019, that number had gone up to $5.45 trillion. I'm going to put into perspective for you just how big $1 trillion is. So write this down, take these notes. You're going to be the hit of the next party that you go to because you've got this random information and it's really fun. But to explain how big $1 trillion is, if I asked you to go back in time 1 million seconds ago, you all are on your computers, you can Google this, you can check me out, make sure I didn't make it up. But if you go back in time 1 million seconds ago, you're going back in time about 12 days. If I asked you to go back in time 1 billion seconds ago, you're going back in time 32 years. And here we go, I'm going to blow your mind. If I asked you to go back in time 1 trillion seconds ago, you would be going back in time 32,000 years. So the difference between a million, which is a number that we can all relate to, and $1 trillion, which we think we can relate to, the difference between those two figures in terms of time is literally 32,000 years. So when you see a statistic like this and you realize that these companies are getting in the economy an extra $2 trillion worth of spending, and yet they're going out of business, it's basically telling you what it is that's going on. There's a seismic shift that's going on in retailing. And you can see I've got a couple slides here. Amazon is the reason Warren Buffett sold Walmart. So Amazon, Warren Buffett, America's investor, he doesn't own any Walmart. And so here's the thing, we're talking about retailing. And why am I doing this? This is a class on systems. Well, here's the thing. Again, we're taking the long route. What I want you to understand is that your industry, our industry, is facing the same pressure. Business is changing and it's affecting us. You see, you have new competition that you didn't have before. There are companies out there like Open Door and OfferPad, Zillow. I know that didn't exactly work out very well for them, but I want you to think about it. These companies that are out there, they are spending millions of dollars to try and market and attract the business that our industry has enjoyed for years and years and years. Right now, there are people that are sitting in a small room and it's a focus group and they're talking about things like phraseology. They're talking about the colors on their website. They're talking about all of these different things that are designed to attract attention away from traditional real estate and move it over to what they decide that their new model is. This is a really interesting thing. I saw this when I was in Phoenix driving down. This was a billboard that I saw, realtors charge too much. And so my point is this, and this is what it is that I'm getting to. We have to be aware of the fact that we have some fierce competitors that are extremely well funded. They're very well organized, and they're coming for what it is that we're doing. The same way that business in the 90s was changing, now business again, and it's constantly changing in 2023 is different. So the question that I want you to ask yourself is this: what is the one thing that you have that your competition does not have the ability to compete with? Because you do. No matter how much money they spend, no matter what systems they put in place, no matter what it is that they do, there is something that you have that they're never going to have the ability to compete with. And the answer to that question, quite simply, is you. They don't have the ability to compete with you, your neighborhood focus, the experience that you have living in your market. Sarah had mentioned, I'm from Arizona. I was born in the Valley. I went to high school down there. I've been around Arizona my entire life. I'm a native. I'm pretty sure there's like 26 of us because everybody's from somewhere else. But nobody can replace the experience that I have watching this market change. And the same thing is true for you in the markets that you're working and you're serving. The problem that we have is sometimes we don't do the very best job of getting out our value proposition. And our value proposition, quite simply, is ourself. The reason why is because we're inconsistent. We're inconsistent so many times with our marketing. We're so inconsistent with our messaging. We're inconsistent with our branding. And what I want to talk about is how a system has the ability to change that for you. And again, I love object lessons. And one of my favorite ones is the story of McDonald's and Ray Kroc. If you have Netflix, I want you to check this out. This is your homework. Yes, Marketing Matters today. You walked out of here with homework, and your homework is to watch the movie The Founder, and it's by it has Michael Keaton in it. He plays Ray Kroc. And what's interesting is in this movie, Ray Kroc really understands the value of systems. One of my favorite scenes in the movie is he's in the process of taking over McDonald's. And one of the things that McDonald's has become world renowned for is their consistency of experience. You can walk into the McDonald's that is somewhere within a mile of your home, and you have the ability to buy the exact same hamburger that you could buy in New York City or Paris, France, or wherever it is in the world. It's consistency of experience. And they do that through systems. In fact, in the movie, there's the scene where he walks into one of his franchisees and he gets a hamburger and it has lettuce on it, leaf lettuce on it. And he loses his mind. He asks the owner of the store, he's like, "What are you doing?" And he's like, "It tastes better." And it's like, it doesn't matter about the taste. It isn't made according to specification. Why? Because Ray Kroc understood the value of systems. And let me explain to you why that matters for us. The dirty little secret about the real estate and lending industry is that so often at the time we struggle with consistency of experience. I'm a branch manager. I have several loan officers who work for me. One of the things that we work the absolute hardest to do, and it's difficult. It happens at mortgage companies. It happens at real estate companies. It happens all over the place. You can have a customer come to the exact same company, work with one person versus another, and they might end up with a completely different experience. In fact, sometimes you can receive a referral from somebody, and that referral that you receive can have a completely different experience than a referral that you received at a later date. And that is inconsistent experience. I'll prove it to you in case you're not sure. I would just ask you if you can raise your hands on the chat, or you can raise your hands at home. Here's the question I'd ask every single person. Have you ever gotten a referral or received a lead, called that referral, got their voicemail or whatever it was, and then forgot to follow back up with them, to stay consistent, to get a hold of them? I've taught this class all over this state. Every single place that I've taught it, every single person has raised their hand. It has happened to every single one of us. We've gotten referrals, and somehow, some way, we don't execute the same on all of those places. And I'm going to tell you the reason why that happens. The reason why it happens is because we lack a system. I'm going to define a system for you right now. I'm going to tell you how we can fix this. Here's where the rubber meets the road. A system is a set of principles or procedures according to which something is done, an organized framework or method. And here's the thing: if your competitors in your market can't compete with you, you have to make sure, you have to come up with a plan to make sure that you are getting your very best self, your most consistent self, the same you to your customers every single time. You need to McDonald your business and figure out how to make that consistent. I'm going to talk about what a CRM is versus a CAP, because for me, what that system really is it's your customer relationship manager. That is exactly what a CRM is. And what it does is it allows you to direct your activities so that you treat everything the same way. You use your CRM to develop your customer appreciation program. That is a secondary system. So we're talking about two systems in your business here. The first, how do I stay consistent? How do I make sure that when I receive a lead, the same thing is happening to that person the same way every single time, no matter whether or not I receive that lead driving in the car, sitting in my office, wherever it is, on vacation, it doesn't matter. I treat everything the same way. My disciplines in my CRM are what allow me to make sure that I have consistency of experience. And then my customer appreciation program, which is separate, it's run by my CRM, but my customer appreciation program is how I make sure that I'm always delivering value to the people that I come into contact with. So everybody's going to get consistent something from me and what it is that I'm doing. Your CRM is a database. And many of us have databases, many of us don't. The problem is a lot of us don't understand how to use a database. That's our problem. Our problem is that we have them and we think that what they are is a place where we put a bunch of information, phone numbers, email addresses, and it drips marketing on the people that are in the database. And then magically, somehow these people call us back and we close transactions. It's not magic beans. This isn't Jack and the Beanstalk. And that is not how it works. It is a place where we put all of that information, but I'm going to give you a couple very specifics about this. Number one, your CRM should be the very first thing that you open on a daily basis, and it should be the very last thing that you close on a daily basis. And if your CRM is not telling you what you need to be doing every single day, you do not have a system. You do not have a system. And what your CRM specifically should be doing is it should be directing you to your business winning activities. So your CRM should have a whole bunch of contacts, and all of those contacts should have tasks assigned to them. Your task list becomes the most important part of what it is that you're supposed to do. I'm going to give you a couple commandments for your new system, whatever CRM you use, and we can talk about that separately. I'm not going to go over what CRM you should be using. You just need to have one. But here's the thing. Every opportunity that you have open, every single person, the person that you met in the grocery store, the person that was referred to you from a previous client, the family member of the last person that you sold a home to that was referred to you, whoever it is that is in your customer relationship manager, no matter who that is, okay, no matter who it is, they need to have a task assigned to them at all times. That task should be, hey, reach out for initial contact because I didn't get a hold of them. It should be some follow-up on something that it is that you did. It needs to be something so that those people do not fall through the cracks. I started by asking you the question, if you've ever had a lead that was sent to you that you forgot to follow up with. I think we've all said yes to that question. The way that you eliminate that is by creating a system around how you handle leads. They go into your database, they go into your CRM. Everybody has a task assigned to them. That's the first and most important commandment. The second is just like it. You're going to clear every single one of your tasks every single day. So if your CRM tells you that you're supposed to follow up with John Smith, you're going to call John Smith that day, not because you remembered. You did it because your CRM told you that you needed to do it. Here's an example of some of the systems that you can build into your CRM. These are the tasks that you need to assign to yourself. Follow-up phone calls to prospects, check-in calls to sellers, buyers in process, check-in calls to title agents and lenders. I could ask Sarah right now, I already know the answer to the question. How many lenders call their title company to let them know how the loan process is going? It seems weird to me that they don't do that, but they don't. And the reason why they don't is because they don't have a system that tells them to do it. Our value proposition, whether it's in real estate or whether it's in lending, is us. And us means we have to be excellent at everything that we do. We have to have world-class service. And world-class service means keeping everybody in the transaction involved. I could tell you stories, and I'm actually, to tell you the truth, Sarah could probably tell them better than I could, but how many times has a title company not been communicated with, and then day of, a lender drops docs on them and says, hey, we need to get these signed within the next couple of hours? It's the
Jason,
tyranny.
that never happens.
Never happens, right? You've never seen that. Lenders don't do that to you, right?
Never.
Let me ask you this question. What does that do in your business when someone else's disorganization affects your business? What is that fire drill like for you?
Oh, it is a scramble. It is all hands on deck, call in the fire trucks, and make it happen. And then frequently, because title is the last ones to do everything, and we're supposed to put the nice tidy bow on the package, frequently it leaves all of our customers with a very bad taste in their mouth for things that are essentially out of our control. But because we're the last ones to have our hands on the deal, and it all comes down to us and our timing, it can really, there's a reason that escrow officers, especially at the end of the month, we take them out for happy hour.
That's now let me ask you this question, because we all know that in this industry things happen, and sometimes we do have those transactions that really time is of the essence. I'll give you a great example. I have a loan that we're working on right now. It is new construction, a new build, and the builder's lender is choking on being able to get this borrower approved, reached out to us. We have the ability to figure it out. We're trying to close this deal in 8 days, and it's not uncomplicated. So we're in communication with everybody. So Sarah, let me ask you this question, because I think here's where it gets really interesting. If you know that you have a deal coming in hot because somebody's communicating with you, how much of a difference does that make to you in your business if you know that that is coming ahead of time?
It makes all the difference in the world, because when we are being communicated with, that means that we can turn around and communicate with our clients and make sure that everybody's on the same page, that all the T's are being crossed, all the I's are being dotted. And it's, it's the complete opposite. We come away as, the superheroes of the deal, because everybody feels very good and very confident about what's going on.
Exactly. And that's exactly right. And here's the thing, the difference between those two tales that we just told, the difference between those two is very simply organization. It's just being organized and being intentional in your business. And you don't have the ability to do that outside of a system that is prompting you to communicate. So those check-in calls to your title partners, to your real estate agents, the assignment of future tasks in your customer appreciation program, organizational tasks to continually sort and qualify your database. Here's a great way that we work on our database. We have different designations for different customers. For me, an A+ person in my database is somebody who refers me multiple transactions a year. I need to make sure that I'm touching that person. I need to make sure that I'm reaching out and I am sharing care and concern, trying to figure out what it is that's going in their life, and most importantly, staying top of mind with them and what it is that they're doing. And I'm not going to outsource that responsibility to an email. We're in a personal business. We've said that our value proposition is us. And so if it's not us on the phone making those phone calls, well, we're not very personal, are we? How different are we from a commercial that you see, from a national competitor or a radio ad or an internet pop-up ad or all those things? You're absolutely not different whatsoever unless you're personal in your business, and you don't know how to be personal outside of a system that is telling you to do that. Handwritten notes, great discipline, lost art of our time. They go such a long way. I have this last bullet point in bold. I should make it the third commandment. The most important discipline, once you have completed a task, is to assign a follow-up task every single time you do it. And here's how I want to close today. And there's so much more that I could talk about. There's so many things that I could go into. And I want to encourage you, if you have more questions on this topic, if you would like to figure out how to get started, if you want help putting these systems into your business, I want you to do me a favor, reach out to me and let me know. And what we can do is very specifically look at how your business is working, the systems that you already have in place, and where we can come alongside of you and help you. But let me show you the power. Let me show you how the power of a system works in terms of converting additional clients for your business. This is a client that was referred to me. I don't know if you can see this here at the bottom, but it was referred to me on January 17th of 2020. Hope is this client's name, Hope. This client was referred on January 17th. I reached out and left them a voicemail, and guess what? They didn't call me back. Does that sound familiar? Anybody? That's happened. It's happened to everybody, right? So my CRM, what I did is I went in and I assigned a follow-up task to continue to follow up. You can see my discipline in terms of doing this every step of the way. And I didn't make all these phone calls, these text messages, these emails. I didn't do any of these things because I was clever and I remembered. I did all of these things because my system told me to. In 2020, I funded over $45 million worth of loans. That's a lot of business, y'all. And here's the thing. The only reason why I had the ability to fund that much business and make sure that I didn't let deals slip through the crack is because I had a system. So you can see left voicemail, sent a text message, voicemail, texted, message, text, check in. If you take a look at this, February 21st, this is it's over a month after I first get this referral. Hope picks up the phone and we have a conversation. Oh my gosh, Jason, thanks for checking in with me. Yes, I'm very interested in purchasing a home. I'm busy now. Can I fill out your application online? Absolutely. We have that there for your convenience. Let me get that link over to you. If you got any questions, call me back. So I accomplished my goal, right? Here again, here's where most systems fail. I got a hold of that person. They said they were going to fill out the app, but guess what happens if we don't follow up? They don't fill out the app, right? They tell us they're going to do it and they don't. So like we talked about, the third commandment, every time you clear a task, you assign a follow-up task. I set follow-up tasks to check and see, hey, you know what? You hadn't completed that application. Do you need any help with that? Can we do it over the phone? Whatever it is. Again, the point you can see here is that there is an entire tree of activity that is all built around making sure that we get an application from this client. Here's what happens. Hope keeps going. You can see we're doing all of these different things. We end up getting until the month of March. Actually, I think I skipped a page here, but I'll nutshell it. In March, I realized after 2 months, Hope just really isn't reaching out. So we changed the designation in the database. We switched the cadence. We're only going to follow up every couple months, see if something happens, right? So again, we have a system that's telling us how to treat leads that are disengaged. I know every single one of you has disengaged leads in your database. What system are you using to engage those people? So for me, really cool thing happens. November rolls around and Hope reaches out to me on one of the emails that I sent her. And she said, Jason, thank you so much for following up with me. I got busy. I had this life event happen. I'm now ready to buy a house. Can I do your application? I said, Hope, absolutely not. You blew your chance. Of course. Yes, absolutely. I would love to be able to help you, right? So Hope completes an application. And guess what? Hope is actually really well qualified. So I pick up the phone and I reach out to the real estate agent who had referred Hope to me. And I said, hey, do you remember Hope Haynes? And it was so funny. The real estate agent says to me, no, who's Hope? And I started laughing. I said, well, you referred her to me on January 17th. And she said, I did? And I said, yeah, actually you did. I have her qualified. Here's a pre-qual form. Would you like to go and help her find a house? And so what did we do? We converted that transaction because we had a system in place. It was a difficult market in 2020 or 2021, whatever year. The 2021, I think, is when it was. Couldn't find a house, but we stayed consistent. We checked in every single week while she was shopping for houses to make sure that everything was good. We ended up closing that deal 14 months after that lead was originally given. And then here, again, the system never stops. The system switches at that point to figure out how to follow up with that customer. We do 6 and 12-month follow-up calls. So my system tells me, hey, you closed Hope 6 months ago, reach out and talk to her, see how she's doing. So I pick up the phone, I call her. Hey, how you doing? How's everything? Oh my gosh, Jason, it's wonderful. Can't believe it. I met this wonderful man and we're going to get married. Oh my gosh, Hope, that's awesome. Congratulations. She goes, the only bad thing is we're going to move to South Dakota. Like, who moves to South Dakota from Arizona? Are you kidding me? Like, who does that? But again, my system put me in contact with her. And so I said, hey, do you need help getting some information on the value of your home? She goes, that'd be fantastic. So this time I reach out to my agent again and I say, hey, you remember Hope? And at this time point, she says, absolutely, I remember Hope. We were able to send that transaction back to the real estate agent who was able to list that property and get it sold. Here's my point. My point is that none of these things happen. You don't enjoy the consistency of experience. You don't grow your business unless you systemize it. You have got to put a CRM into your business and you have to allow your tasks to direct your activities. What do you do from here? Figure out which CRM you're going to use, sort and qualify your database. Customer appreciation program, that's a separate conversation. Maybe we'll do that in a future class or something. But you really need to set your tasks for all of your leads and clients in your database. This is how you McDonald's your business. You make sure that every person who comes to you gets the same you, the same way every single time. And that is how you stand out from your competition. That's what I got. I hope you dig it. I'm super passionate about it. So whatever questions you have, bring them on, y'all.
Awesome. Well, Jason, we did have a question about CRMs.
Yeah.
So, of course, see, there's so many CRMs.
Yes.
So, which do you use or would you recommend?
So the CRM that I use is Salesforce. Salesforce is probably one of the most popular in the market. It has amazing functionality. There's a lot of, really great stuff that goes with that. There's a specific one that's on the market that's called escrow. It's a play on word. It's just the letter S and then grow. And what they've done is they've put a real estate template on top of Salesforce, and it is very specifically built around the tasks that I'm talking about. It doesn't have to be that one. Any of them can work. Brian Buffini has a great one called Referral Maker. I know there's Lion's Desk I've heard. Any of them can work for you. The one that I like the best is a product called Escrow, and I can get you more information on it, but it's fantastic.
And then the one that a lot of us personally use at Landmark Title is Wise Agent.
Yes, Wise Agent is a great one.
Yes, they're a local company. So
yes.
And some of the CRMs can get very complicated.
Yes.
So don't, if you get one and you're like, oh my gosh, it does like a million or trillion and one things, simplify it. Give them a call.
Yeah, less is more. You don't, that's the problem with everything, right? We overbuild so many things. We don't do this. Write this down. Don't confuse motion with progress. It doesn't mean that the more that you do, the better that it is. Do a few things very well, and that's going to be the piece that sets you apart. I'm telling you, if you did nothing other than assign and clear tasks, if you did nothing but that, you are going to add transactions to your business in 2023 that you wouldn't have closed otherwise. Guaranteed.
Absolutely. I love the fact that you focused on the tasks, because so frequently, people will get in, they'll put people into their CRM, they'll put them on a drip campaign, and they'll go, well, okay, their information's there if I need to access their information. However, when I was in real estate recruiting, I lived and died by my CRM. And one of the best pieces of advice that I got was, don't go into anybody in your CRM without setting a follow-up task. So
preach. Amen.
If you are opening up somebody's contact information, set your next task. And when that next task comes up, do whatever it is that task was and set a following one, so that it's always in a constant cycle, so that nobody is getting just set and forgotten in your CRM. And it works. Like I said, coming from a recruiting background where if I wasn't giving them a call, somebody else from another brokerage was giving them a call.
Yeah.
It always made sure that I was the person that was reaching out and giving them, that constant attention. And I would hear it all the time, nobody else has even called me. Like, maybe that's because they're not using their CRM and setting their tasks. You're top of mind with me. I can't wait to talk to you.
Exactly.
Well, Jason, would you go ahead and put your contact information in the chat just in case anybody else has any other questions? I know a lot of times we get on these webinars and, we don't think of what it is that we actually want to ask until after we get off the webinar.
You bet. That's how it always works, isn't it?
Always. It never fails. Yeah. Well, if you guys have any other questions, put them in. Jason's contact info is there as well in case you want to reach out directly to him. I'm going to wrap up today with going over a few of the other classes we have coming up. So we still have the spring training for real estate going on. You guys will see this flyer for 8 weeks because it's an 8-week course. It's online. You do not need to have gone to the other ones. You can jump in at any time. Real estate net worth and understanding your role next to CPAs and financial advisors is coming up next week. This is a great one. Every Monday, I think we're about halfway through that series. If you want to get signed up for it, reach out to Beth. And then tomorrow, we're so excited to have our Arizona real estate series available on Zoom this time. So this is a series we've done in person. However, pandemic broke us all. And there is still, it's springtime. allergies are now kicking in. It's a hard thing sometimes to make it to an in-person event. Well, guess what? You can literally hop on tomorrow in your pajamas and get all of this great information. We've got Thomas from the Greater Phoenix Economic Council. We've got Keith, who is a new home builder, coming on to talk about our growth. So you will not want to miss this. We have over 100 people registered right now, and there is still room for you, my friends. So scan that QR code, get registered. I'll see you at 9 a.m. tomorrow. And then I've got a Canva Create class coming up. So I was on Canva Create, which is a big event that Canva does, and they released some new tools. So if you use Canva, if you've heard of Canva, even if you've not heard of Canva, I really recommend hopping on this. We talk a lot about right now, AI is huge. Canva has released some new tools that literally I have spent the last week just playing with, showing everyone. My mind is blown from these new tools. So hop on April 4th at 11 a.m. This is going to be on Zoom, and come get your mind blown with me. We're going to go over some really great tools. And then we've got CE classes starting out with April 5th. We've got appraisal methodology. This is going to give you 3 hours of general CE credit. It's an in-person CE class at the Atrium at Arrowhead from 9 until noon on April 5th. So if you need those credits, hop on, reach out to Patty. She's hosting this one, and we'll get you in there. And that's it for us today, guys. Thank you, Jason. Like I said, I love systems. Once you said task, I was like, oh, I love tasks. So that was great. Great information. CRMs are a funny one like that, because we all know that we need to be doing more in our CRMs. But I like how you broke it down with, like, don't go in and, reinvent the wheel. Add something simple to your systems.
Yes.
Like, literally, we're talking a couple clicks every time you're reaching out to somebody. It doesn't have to take you hours to create these systems. Start by implementing something simple like tasks.
That's
Brilliant.
Right. Yes, definitely.
And then thank you, of course, to our business development managers. If you want any help with your CRM or need some ideas, please reach out to them. If you're not already working with one of them, let me know. I'll be happy to introduce you. We've got some really great business development managers on our team, such as Beth, Becky, Melinda, Mary, Cynthia, Michelle, Michael, and Renee. And then, of course, thank you to Landmark Title for allowing us to bring you Marketing Matters and wonderful guests like Jason every single week. We have 7 offices in the Valley to service you, as well as one in Prescott, where Jason is. And we have 2 in the Nevada area. I know we get some of our Nevada people on Marketing Matters, which is just awesome. I love, like I said, I love the fact that we have representation from all of our different markets. So Jason, thank you for being that today for us and for coming on. And look forward to doing more with you.
Let's do it. Thank you so much.